Hello everyone, thought it was time for another video. I'd got a little bit of film which I could take in a few things going on, so I thought we'll do a quick video. Isn't it funny how sometimes things don't quite go according to plan? Anyway, I'll start you off with the introduction and then we'll go from there. So here we are, summer's here at last. Not going to last very long, but they say we've got about 5 days in front of us, which is great. Never complain. It's now 7th of October, so I guess this is the weather I wanted before I had to go at the rally. But and we did have it on the Saturday, but we certainly didn't get it on the Sunday. Anyway, so what have we been doing? Well, not very much, because it's been rally. We've just knocked up this framework on a trailer. This was actually the old Marquee trailer chassis, and it was okay, it did the job well, but it hadn't really got good enough brakes, and it really didn't carry the weight I'd got on it. And since it was only me towing it around, I said I've got to have a better deal somehow. So I finished up buying a second-hand tilt bed trailer. Didn't cost very much really, and the top of the other trailer unbolted, and we just swapped it over, so it was a very easy fix. Probably took 4 hours. But this one, I was sort of wondering, good chassis, what should we do with it? And then I was offered for the rally some waste paper bins, and the waste paper bins are used chemical containers, the blue ones, you know the ones I mean. They've had the top cut out of them, been used for fish, so they smell a bit, but I had the chance of 50 of them at £1 each, which is far too good to miss. But the next question is then, where do I put them? Because I seem to be the holding ground for all the rally stuff. So I had this inspiration about turning this chassis into a carrier for it. And if I put them 3 deep, I can get 50 on there easy. So that's the plan. I bought some damaged sides off of the hire people. We hired some Harris panels, and we managed to bend one, so I owned up to it and said, you know, we bent one panel, but the rest can go back. And then I said, what do you do with the old ones? And he said, you know, anything that's damaged. So he said, well, usually sell them off at £10 each. So I bought 10 of them, you know, 100 quid. We'll have more than enough to go right around this trailer. And I was thinking probably do the floor with it, but it's not really heavy enough for that, so I'll have to bodge someone else in there. But that's the plan anyway. That's next project. We'll get that done very quickly now, because I'm going to have to pick these barrels up. So, and then I'll be ready to stash for the winter. Store them upside down so they don't carry any water. And it's another one of the things that, you know, everybody. Picking the stuff up at the rally field is easy, putting it away after is not so easy. I'm still putting stuff away from the rally now. So, what else happened? Fordson, the standard Fordson, definitely finished now, apart from starter motor. I cannot find a starter motor. My good friends that are now, well, tractor pullers from Dorset, they came down a few days before the rally. They went off to Ron Greets, and I sent them off with specifications of what to get. And they brought this one back, which fits. But the snout end, and I'll try and point at that. Can I get there? Yeah. That end isn't deep enough. And so when the Bendix flies out, it just misses the starter ring. So if anybody's got any ideas, I've gone back to Ron Greet, and they're looking to see what they can find. They know exactly what I mean, so hopefully they'll find one. So, apart from a hole there, this is ready to go. And I'm hoping we would have brought it up to we would have taken it to the rally. We were all set to do it, and then right at the last minute, we realised we'd put no oil in the gearbox. We got 30 gallons of hydraulic oil, but no gear oil. And it's no good putting hydraulic oil in the back end, because it'd be running out everywhere. So that's another little plan. We've got to just drop some oil in it, and I've been and fetched that this morning, so we'll do that directly, and hopefully we'll have this up and running. So I'm not quite going to throw it out yet, but I do want to get it away from under the crane, which I don't need it for anymore on this, so I'm going to put this one in next door until we get it going properly. And I'll bring the next project in here, which I think you probably know what it's going to be really, but I've got a couple of little jobs to do on other things first. So that's it, that's it's finished in here for now. So, all good so far. My intention was to get the tractor out. Ian was doing some brakes on a van, only up the yard, so he wasn't very far away. And I was going to get everything ready, and then we were going to put the belt on the standard Fordson, and we'd get it started, and away we'd go. So that was going to be the next demonstration. So all I got to do, well, I didn't even have to do that, but I wanted to pull the tractor out of the where it was stood, workshop out of where it was, and I could do a bit more filming. And while Ian was finishing his brakes off, he got about an hour left on it, so I'd got to kill an hour. So easy, we'll put the forklift on the front of the standard Fordson and we'll pull it out. So this is what happened. So as you can see, I set the camera up in the window of the forklift, and that machine gun noise was, I don't know what it was. I couldn't hear it, but it was there on the film when we'd done it. So it was obviously picking up something on the microphone. But when I went to pull the tractor backwards, the back wheels wouldn't turn. So I thought it must be in gear. So I jumped off and went and put it in gear, or knocked it out of gear, and it was out of gear, and it still wouldn't go. And I thought, well, what on earth can it be? So I gave it a little nudge backwards, and I thought that had sorted it out, but it didn't sort it out. So I finished up dragging it out, which wasn't really what I wanted to do, but it was a means to an end. So that was the first problem. So we'll just show you what happened there. Right, so I got the tractor out, which was what I wanted to do, and what my next plan was to, the next tractor in there is going to be the Roadless, and that's the next big project really. Not quite sure which way we're going with it yet, but that was to do, so I thought I'll film that. I did film it, but the camera changed speed. It became lightning fast. I couldn't slow it down. So what was going to be quite a nice, interesting little video of me picking the tractor up suddenly becomes not very good. And because the trouble is, I didn't know what I'd done, and I didn't see it till it was too late, really. So anyway, I'll show you the cock up and go from there. There, you didn't know I could move as fast as that, did you? I'd love to play some Benny Hill music on that, really, but once I get that in my brain, can't stop doing it, so I haven't done it. Anyway, I got the tractor into where I wanted it to be, and I was going to do a bit more on that, really, but things clearly weren't going according to plan by then. So I haven't abandoned it by any means, but I've stuck it in the shed where it is, and there'll be another story about that sometime. Ian was still messing about with his brakes. He hadn't done a test run or anything yet, so I thought, right, what can I do next? So one of the things that we want to do a little bit of work on, because it doesn't need very much to saw today, is the Massey digger. Do you remember the Massey digger I bought? I'll remind you.
Leave him running for a minute. Stop. Sorry, right? Sorry, yeah.
So there it is. Digger's, well, I haven't really done anything with it since it was unloaded. I did move it around the yard, and we had a hydraulic pipe was leaking, which was wasting more oil than it was worth. So I sort of set it to one side, but hadn't got time to do anything with it. The reason it was so awkward coming off the lorry was because the handbrake was seized on, and you were fighting the brakes all the time. So that had to be sorted out. I had taken the handbrake off it to release it in the meantime, and it still didn't release it, which meant there was a linkage seized somewhere. So I hadn't made much progress. Anyway, we had a hydraulic pipe go on my little Kubota digger in this last week, and I said, while you're here, do the hose on the Massey, which he did. So we've got it back to good. And that tractor has always, it's a 4-cylinder 35 in it, and that tractor's always been a really good starter. So I thought, right, I'll just show how good this tractor starts, because it sort of turns over twice and away it goes. And it's done that ever since it's been there. I've started it a few times just to make sure the battery's okay, but that's all I've done. So I thought, right, I'll start it up and then I'll drive it out, fighting the brakes, and we'd get it sorted out and tackle that. That was the next job. We wanted to do that before the Roadless, really, because it needed sorted out. So here we go. So I got it started. You've got to trust me, it started just as I expected it to. So it's a pity you couldn't hear that, but anyway, that was all right. So I managed to drive it out and drove it into the workshop with the handbrake still on. You could move it, but it was definitely holding. And got it down. I got it up on the jack so we could get underneath it and poke about with the linkage. And Ian then turned up, so we had a go at it. We found that it wasn't actually the handbrake that was binding, it was one of the inboard foot brakes. And I think what happened when they loaded it, they must have tried to free off the handbrake by freeing off the brakes, and they actually went the wrong way. And it looks like they tightened it up, so there was one foot brake that was holding, that was what was binding, and where I'd taken the handbrake off to release it, that was a different problem altogether, and the handbrake wasn't sticking on, but the lever is still seized up. But anyway, I freed that. So of course now the digger moves, so it was easy, it was so easy to sort it out. So we thought, right, so I said to Ian, right, you better have a go on it, bring it up, take it to the road and bring it back up again. You would do our usual thing. What I didn't know was, and I didn't know until now really, the camera was still playing up, and I'd still got, I don't know what I was doing. I was doing high speed or time lapse or something. But so here we go. Again, slowed down as much as I can. But so Ian did a little test run on it. So you've got to trust me, that digger was going really well. It's a bit gutless because it's quite heavy, really. He was in second gear coming up the lane, and there's no way it will pull up there in top. So when Ian had got off it, I had a go, and I thought, right, I'll do the same thing. I was going to see if I could get up in top gear, but it wouldn't have it. It was it's a lot of weight, and that's quite a climb our drive. Doesn't look it there, but it will test anything. So I took it in the drive, and it hasn't got the best brakes, I've got to say. We're going to have to get in there and explore it, but you can make it stop and do what you want to do if you stamp on it hard enough. So I brought it back up and I parked it in front of the workshop, and right, we're good. And what I wanted to do was, because by now I'd found out really that the film wasn't right, so I wanted to show this thing starting up so nicely. And I went to start it and the key was dead. And I thought, well, what on earth's that? So we messed about with it. We thought it was a linkage or something, not a linkage, a connection somewhere. And anyway, the bloody solenoid's gone. So we've got another solenoid. We tried to put the other solenoid on, and it's not quite right. So I've got to get a new solenoid for it now. But in that sod's law, you just get it going right, and then there's another problem. So I'm hoping to get out, and I've suddenly realised that I have got a starter for a 35 on that one I bought in bits. So I'll have a try putting that on a bit later on. So that might be on the next film. So bit of a disappointing video today, but I thought, you know, not my usual polished performance, but I thought you might appreciate it. So that's really all I've got for you. I've got a quick shot. I was down by the shed where I fetched the Roadless from, and I got do you remember the Major without hydraulics and the power takeoff? That was stood there, and the winch tractor was stood beside it. And I thought, what a nice picture that was. So I took a picture of that, and that's what I'm going to finish up with. So I hope it hasn't bored you too much, and I'll try and do better next time. So bye for now. We'll see you directly.